Hey y'all, my name is Adina Barnett Miller, but I'm known to my students as Mrs. B. I've been passionate about West Virginia history for as long as I can remember, but my mom would tell you it all started when I was 3 years old and she bought me a West Virginia counties puzzle at Gino's Pizza. I've taught history in Ripley, West Virginia for over 20 years now, and I'm an adjunct professor who teaches college West Virginia history to high school students. Please join me for West Virginia History with Mrs. B, a field trip across the Mountain State to walk in the footsteps of those who came before us.
Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B, and I'm coming to you from the Greenbrier Resort in White Sulphur Springs in Greenbrier County. And so our plan for today is to give you a tour of the main floor, the common areas of the Greenbrier Resort, the main hotel. And so we are going to start with this image right here, and this is a image honoring Jim Justice and Kathy Justice. Jim Justice was elected governor of the state of West Virginia in 2016, and Jim was already known before that because he was West Virginia's only billionaire. And so Jim bought the Greenbrier Resort in 2009. It had been operating in the red. It was owned by the CSX Corporation, which is what originally was the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad, and then they bought like the Baltimore Ohio Railroad and some other railroads, and so they were owners of this magnificent place for almost 100 years. And so this image is for Jim because he is the governor of West Virginia. So we're going to give you a lot of the history, show you a lot of the cool places. So this hallway here leads up to the Windsor Club, and it also leads up to Prime 44 West, which is Jerry West's steakhouse. But the reason why we wanted to talk about the Windsor Club is because the Duke and Duchess of Windsor were guests, and so here they are at the Greenbrier. If you are fans of The Crown, you know the Duke of Windsor because he abdicated the throne so he could marry Wallis Simpson, a multiple-time divorcee, who was the love of his life. And so they liked coming to the Greenbrier. Wallis had been here even before she married the Duke of Windsor. And so here's another image of him, the Duke of Windsor. The guy that they got to play him in The Crown was pretty spot on. And so this marks that they opened the Windsor Club in 2011 in honor of them. And so the Windsor Club is, the Greenbrier is pretty elite, but the Windsor Club is extra elite. You pay an extra fee, you have snacks, drinks all the time, and you have a full-time concierge service. And so it's back behind those locked doors over there. So if you look this way, you can get a great view into the main dining room. The main dining room has been a staple at the Greenbrier in this building since this building was built in 1910. And so it is where you can go have a fantastic breakfast buffet or have dinner, and it is just, a Greenbrier institution. If you look down this hallway, you can see this is one of the beautiful main corridors here on this floor, and it's still decorated for the holidays. Of course, the videos don't do this place justice. It is so magnificent, so special on the inside, and every detail, was either put here by Dorothy Draper, who spent $12 million remodeling this building from 1946 to 1948, or these details were put here by Carleton Varney, who was her successor at the Dorothy Draper design firm in New York. And so Carleton Varney loved this place just like Dorothy did. He spent, his entire working career coming here after Dorothy passed, and now his son has taken over since he has passed. So we've now got third generation of the Dorothy Draper design firm supporting what's happening here at the Greenbrier. So one of the big things about a Dorothy Draper design is that there is pattern on pattern on pattern. And so one of the patterns that she created for the Greenbrier is what we call rhododendron pattern. And so you can find it on the couches, you can find it on the wallpaper. This is my favorite Dorothy Draper Greenbrier specific pattern. It's gorgeous. And so the reason why we're standing here in the main lobby is I wanted to show you all this clock. This clock has a lot of historical significance. When people would come into the Greenbrier to visit, the employees would tell them, you need to set yourself to Greenbrier time, because you have a lot of reservations and things that you need to be at, and so the time where you're coming from may be different than Greenbrier time. And so this clock has been here since the Dorothy Draper remodel, 1946 to 1948, and it's still here as a testament of, when you come to the Greenbrier, you're on Greenbrier time. So I want to take you and show you some more things here. So if you want to walk with me. This is the crystal room. And if you look in, you can see why it's called the crystal room. This is one of the older rooms in the Greenbrier. This is a meeting space, and as you can see, it's called the crystal room because there are 4 absolutely fantastic chandeliers on the ceiling. This room was draperized in the 1940s. And a personal aside, this room's really cool for me because when I became West Virginia History Teacher of the Year through the Daughters of American Revolution, this is where I got my award. So people can rent these spaces, have meetings, have meals, and they're just really spectacular and special. So the Greenbrier's had many additions, this main hotel has, and so I'm going to show you how the additions have been added on over time, and it's kind of like you can tell when you cross a timeline because you can see that the wallpaper changes a little bit, the decor changes just a little bit. So we're getting ready to take you on a big change from the 1930s to the early 70s. So we're going to walk. As you can see, there's continuity in the carpet, but the decor kind of changes here. So we have some big meeting spaces in this part of the hotel. One of them is this one, the Chesapeake room. This is a large meeting space. You can have your wedding here or have a big meeting here. For Draper decor, this is kind of a more subdued space because you can see it's a lot of tan, but you can still see those Dorothy Draper elements and the window treatments and the really intricate carpet. And also, that ceiling is so stinking cool. So she's here, you can feel that, even though these spaces were designed by Carleton Varney because Dorothy had passed by the time this addition was added onto the hotel. We're going to take you now to the biggest meeting space. And this one is a little bit more Draper. You can see here with the pattern on the floor and then the damask wallpaper. This one's a little bit more flashy Dorothy Draper, and this is the largest meeting space in the entire hotel. This place is so massive that they actually had a college basketball game in this space with a full-size basketball court and bleachers just in November. So this is a massive meeting space for use. And I knew that Greenbrier East High School, they have their prom here every year, so I just can't even imagine how cool that would be to attend a prom in a space so beautiful and so massive as this one. Okay, so we are at some pretty famous stairs. If you've taken the bunker tour, you've probably been up these stairs. But these stairs lead to what is called the West Virginia wing. The West Virginia wing of the hotel was added on in the early 1960s. They used basically the pretext of building the West Virginia wing so that they could build underground and build the congressional bunker. If you didn't know, from basically 1961 till 1992 to 3, Congress had a top secret bunker under the Greenbrier. And so if you just go that way, the West Virginia wing is built into a hillside and the bunker's completely under the hill. So really, when you think about it, it's pretty cool that they were able to keep the secret as long as they did. And so in that bunker, there was a space for every member of Congress, all 535 members. There was a space for one of their aides. They had enough food, medicine, everything that they would need so that they could stay in the bunker for 60 days. The bunker was not built to take an attack. It was built as a fallout shelter. And so what would happen is if there was an attack on the Capitol, the Congress would fly here and then they would come in to the underground bunker and stay for 60 days, basically to ride out the nuclear fallout. The Greenbrier was a perfect place. It's within 250 miles of Washington, D.C. It's between two mountains, so it would be really difficult to take a direct attack here. And it was top secret. So it's not like whoever was attacking us would even know that Congress was actually beneath a resort hotel. The belief was that if there was a nuclear attack on Washington, D.C., that this place would be safe because it is nestled between the mountains. And so it would be, protected from what might come in the way of nuclear fallout from elsewhere. The secret got out. There was a reporter who did some sniffing, a lot of detective work. He also had a high-end anonymous source who gave him lots of information. He came here for 2 weeks and stayed and did a lot of sniffing around. Didn't get anything from the employees because they were mum. The community was mum. Even the president of the Greenbrier didn't tell what was happening. And so, but he had enough information, he was able to go public. So the fallout shelter will be declassified. It will become public information after this moment. And now you can come to the Greenbrier and take tours of the bunker. So you don't have to be a guest, but you can be a guest and take a tour. And the tours are about 90 minutes. And I took them when they first started, and I took one yesterday, and I can tell you the quality of the tour has definitely increased, and they're actually really, really good tours. So if you're interested in learning about the congressional history of the bunker that was never used, you should definitely come to the Greenbrier and take the bunker tour. Hey y'all, we wanted to show you another space in some of the newer rooms, just because I wanted to show you the back end of the Greenbrier Resort so you could really appreciate it. So it is just a massive building, and it has been added on and added on and added on to over the many, 110 years or more of it being in operation here. So the Greenbrier gives its date of founding to 1778. That's when the first European woman came in to take the waters. But the hotel that's here now was built in 1910. Before that, there was a wooden hotel that was called the Old White. It was wooden, and so it didn't meet fire codes, so they had to make a choice of refurbish it or tear it down. And so what they did was tear it down, and they built this in its place. So this is a massive, massive building. Just wanted to give you a little background so you could see what it looked like from the back end. I mean, it's just a massive building. And you can't even see the West Virginia wing, which is up on the hill from where we are now. So we are now in the upper lobby. This is 1910, original to the building. So I wanted to give you just an idea. You'll see all kinds of different patterns here in this space. But if you come and you are here for the afternoon as a guest, you can have tea in this space at 4:15 every day. And there's a gentleman who plays piano, and you can come drink your hot tea or your cold tea, and you can eat lots of little mini desserts, basically to get you through the day until dinner time. And so let's just do a little bit of a pan through. They're taking down Christmas decorations right now, but you can see all the different patterns on the window treatments, on the chairs, on the couches. And then this is like the piece de resistance. This is a painting of George Washington. This is by Jane Stewart. She was the daughter of Gilbert Stuart, who painted that painting that Dolly Madison and the people who she enslaved saved from the White House during the War of 1812. So the Greenbrier has a copy by Gilbert Stuart's daughter, Jane Stewart, and it actually is here over the one working fireplace in the entire Greenbrier. They used to have lots of working fireplaces, but now they just have one. And this is a great place to come and sit. People love to come to the Greenbrier and just kind of sit around on the couches and, you know, take in the world and relax. All right, we are now in the Victorian writing room, which is right off of the upper lobby. And so this space, as it was explained to us, is one of the most unchanged spaces in the entire Greenbrier. This was draperized by Dorothy Draper in 1946 to 1948, and this was her very favorite room in the entire Greenbrier. And so she put it how she wanted it, and it's pretty much stayed the same. It's called the writing room because in this box, they used to keep papers and envelopes, so you could send letters home to folks. And so it's pretty empty right now, but you can always ask for papers to send a letter to your friend or your family member. One thing that I think is super cool about this space is this mirror and this fireplace facade, which you can see is not a real fireplace. These were brought over to the Greenbrier from the old white, before the old white was torn down. So we do have pieces that predate this modern hotel that was built, and I say modern, it was built in 1910, but these pieces predate that. So these have been part of the Greenbrier grounds since before the Civil War, because the old white was finished in the 1850s. So let's keep going. This is the lobby bar, and people love this space. One is because it's full of historical photos of folks like Thomas Jefferson. Here you have, I love this. This is George Washington when he resigned his commission at Newburgh in 1783. Then you've got First in Peace. There's George Washington again. And then you've got some other famous folks as well. I think that's Henry Clay. But the real reason why people love this, besides the fact that there's a bar in here, is this chandelier right here. This chandelier, you'll never believe how it made it. Watch out, Dave. There are a lot of furniture all over the Greenbrier, but this chandelier is amazing. And one of the reasons why it was amazing is it's from Debbie Reynolds' personal collection, and the Greenbrier bought it, and it is one of two chandeliers in this hotel that was actually on the set of Gone with the Wind from the 1930s. So when you look at this and you think, you know, Southern elegance, I mean, this was in one of the biggest movies of all time, and so the Greenbrier now owns it and displays it here in the lobby bar. So we're going to keep on going. The next place I'm going to take you is the trellis lounge. And I really love the colors in here. But this was a way to bring the outside into the building. And so you can see there are flowers on the floor. The walls look like trellises from an outside garden. You've got all these floral window treatments, which is really, 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 really cool. And we learned about this painting yesterday. Apparently, for 1 year of the Greenbrier's history, they had a big steeplechase here on the grounds, and so this is a painting commemorating that. And what's wild is this painting was painted with squid ink, so that's crazy to think about. But this is just another one of those fabulous lobby spaces that people like to hang out with. Okay, we're gonna go to another fantastic space. This is like super iconic parts of the hotel. So this is part of the 1910 construction, but it got draperized too. So the walls are very different. And as you can see, if you look at the pink walls and the pink ceiling, this is called the cameo ballroom. And that's because the ceiling looks like a cameo brooch that women would wear. And so you've got another massive Dorothy Draper chandelier in here. It is a fantastic space. This is iconic Greenbrier space. We've only got a couple more to show you, so we're gonna go this way. So one of the big reasons why people came to the Greenbrier initially and continue to come well into the 20th century was because people came to take in the waters. Taking in the waters didn't mean just bathing in the waters, but people drink the water. This is sulfur water, white sulfur springs, sulfur water, and it stinks like rotten eggs. But this room's important because this was the Springhouse Room. So after the hotel was built in 1910, you didn't actually have to go all the way down over the hill to get yourself water 3 times a day because it was prescribed. You drink it before every meal. It's supposed to be good for your internal organs. They put these spigots in right here, and you could come up and drink your water in here before you went to your meals. So this was a very important room. Water was prescribed, 3 6-ounce glasses a day was prescribed here at the Greenbrier for folks well into the 1960s. And so part of your regimen of the day is you would meet here around this counter to drink your sulfur water. People don't do it anymore, but until the 1960s, this was a major focus of coming here to the Greenbrier. And so, you know, even before the Civil War, people met down at the Springhouse and they would take their cups and drink 3 times a day. But then after this was built, you could just come here to the counter and get your glass of water and drink it before you went to go eat your meal. So I love this room. I love the pink on the wall. I love the rhododendron patterned curtains. And I also love that view of the outside. Hey Dave, if you come here, if we look out the window, y'all see that building up there? It looks like it's on the hill. That is the West Virginia wing right there. And so built into that hillside, you can't see it of course, is the Congressional Bunker underground. And so they built on top of the bunker a medical clinic and 88 hotel rooms. That was the ruse of it. But they're gonna use, what was it, 50,000 tons of concrete, and they used rebar, and they built the Congressional Bunker. So this is, you know, this gives you a good idea of where that bunker is. It's right there, built into that hillside, hidden in plain sight under the West Virginia wing of the Greenbrier. All right, so when Dorothy Draper remodeled the Greenbrier, this was one of the spaces that she put a lot of time and energy into, and she had these busts cast in this dark green wall painted. And the thing is, she didn't tell anybody who the busts were. So like, I think that's Thomas Jefferson. I mean, it may be Andrew Jackson, but like, she didn't tell anyone, so we don't know for sure who all these individuals are. that she had their bust cast, if they were from historical actuality or they're from, you know, like a historical myth, or they aren't actually even real people.
Right.
Dave and I spent a lot of time here the first night trying to figure out who was whom, and we couldn't even agree on who was George Washington in this hallway. So it's just a really cool space. And Dorothy took who the actual identities of these people were with her to her grave. I still think that might be George Washington, but I don't know.
It looks like Washington.
It looks like Washington, but I just don't know. So it's up to you to decide who you think is who, but I mean, this is just a gorgeous little space. All right, so we are now in the North Parlor. I love this space because I think it's gorgeous. And I should mention, if you see like cords on the floor or like shiny stuff, they're taking down Christmas decorations. This is a huge process putting all this up. It's a huge process taking it all down, so just kind of ignore it. But I want to tell you a little story about this bust. This is Eisenhower, Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower loved the Greenbrier. Dwight Eisenhower first came to the Greenbrier when the Greenbrier was owned by the U.S. federal government during World War II. The federal government used the Greenbrier for two different things. One, it was basically an internment camp for German, Japanese, and Italian diplomats for the first 6 to 9 months of World War II. They were kept here. They were not allowed to leave the grounds, but they were treated like guests, and so they lived in the lap of Greenbrier luxury, basically while they were under arrest. And so eventually the United States is able to trade Germany, Italy, and Japan for the American diplomats for their own diplomats. The second part of the Greenbrier story was that the Greenbrier became a massive medical hospital. There's going to be over 2,000 beds in the hotel. They're going to serve a lot of folks that come back injured or sick from World War II. One of the people that came here was this guy, Dwight D. Eisenhower. He loved the Greenbrier, especially because he loved to golf, and so he could come to the Greenbrier, be here to get medical treatment, and he could go golfing. And so he was the brainchild of putting the bunker under the Greenbrier, because when this whole movement started to build the congressional bunker, he was president of the United States. So this was his brainchild. He thought, no one's going to think, oh, there's a gigantic bunker under the Greenbrier Resort in, middle of nowhere, West Virginia. And so he was a huge proponent for the Greenbrier. He came to visit the Greenbrier a lot. American presidents have really loved the Greenbrier. 27 of the 46 presidents have been to the Greenbrier or vacationed at the Greenbrier or even had their honeymoons at the Greenbrier. And so Eisenhower loved coming here. He came here, he was a guest before he was president, after he was president, and then even during his presidency. And so this bust is super cool because the original clay bust was carved by I can't remember his name, Archimedes, I can't remember the last name, but he was the guy in charge of the prosthetic limbs here at Ashford General Hospital. And so he will carve this actual bust out of clay, locally sourced clay, of Eisenhower, and the original is at West Point, and there's a bronze copy here at the Greenbrier. But Eisenhower isn't just the only famous person to come to the Greenbrier. Another person who was a frequent guest is this woman, and this is Grace Kelly, the Princess of Monaco. One of the most famous celebrities in American history, who is so famous and so gorgeous that she marries European royalty. And so she had been a guest at the Greenbrier even before she married her husband, the prince, and so they came back to visit. And so the prince had 2 paintings done One is in the castle in Monaco, and the other one's here because Carleton Varney was able to get it. And it's here at the Green Brier. And if you look here on the wall, you can see right here, it says a wonderful hotel and a beautiful setting equals an exceptional memory. And so it says Grace de Monaco signed here, and this is about their visit, their surprise visit. So this space, she loved it, Eisenhower loved it, and so it's not normally called the North Parlor. It's more known as the Princess Grace Room. I love this room in particular because of this setting here. I love the couch, I love the chairs. These, what would you call those? My brain just went dead.
We'll put it in the
A screen. It's a screen. It's a Japanese screen. So when one of the Japanese diplomats came to the Green Brier, he's going to bring these screens from DC to the Green Brier. They stay here at the Green Brier. The Green Brier will eventually, Dorothy Draper will even reach out to the diplomat that owned these, and he said that the Green Brier could keep them. And so now they're here for us to remember part of that heritage and history of the Green Brier, you know, serving huge purposes for the U.S. government, not only as, you know, a internment camp for Japanese, Italian, and German diplomats, a medical hospital during World War II, but also home of the congressional bunker for decades. And so, you know, the government, of course, paid for these things, but because of the Green Brier's, you know, fact that it was so famous, but it's in a rural part of West Virginia, it gave it, you know, notoriety, but it also gave it anonymity. So no one would have ever thought there's some crazy bunker under the Green Brier. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this tour at the main floor of the Green Brier. There are tons of stories here, and this is a place that you need to see firsthand. And so if you're a West Virginian, you can just make a day trip. You can be a day visitor. You don't have to be a paying guest to see a lot of these spaces. So you should definitely come down, you know, plan to eat at Draper's for lunch, and then take the bunker tour. I think it's a perfect day trip, or you can even splurge and stay like we did. So this is a place that's not to be missed. It is so full of history, hundreds of years of major American history and West Virginia history. And so I'm really glad that I was able to share it with you today.
Thanks, y'all, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to West Virginia History with Mrs. B on both Facebook and YouTube.